This is Andre at Big Gemini Kennels, aka BGK. Welcome back. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment, let us know what you're thinking. Make sure you hit that alert button so that you're notified every time we drop content, and that's gonna be frequently because we came to drop bombs. Beast mode.
To crop or not to crop? Should you crop your dog's ears? What are the pros? What are the cons? Why do we do it? Why do people protest it? Why is this such a controversial topic? Why do people care about dogs' ears being cropped? What's the big deal? Now, I'm going to tell you a quick little story that I encountered personally, and then we'll get into the heart of the matter, right? There was a litter I had and a puppy that I had from a litter that I want to give away. I want to do a BGK giveaway, and I did that. You know, I don't always broadcast a BGK giveaway. I do it here and there. We give out dogs to people that we see fit, and we love to place great dogs with great people. Not good dogs with good people, because we don't do good. We do great, right? So, with that being said, I decided to give this puppy right here to a gentleman who had been following Big Gemini Kennels for a long time. I gave him, he was local, so I gave him the dog for free. She's a female. He decided to name her Jules. And I always thought that was kind of funny because if you know anything about Jules, BGK Jules was actually the foundation female. She's the mother of Cujo. So he chose the name that I liked a lot. I don't know if that's coincidental, but whatever, back on topic. He decided to name his puppy Jules, and I gave him Jules with the ears intact, all right? The ears were intact when I gave them to him. She looked nice with her ears. I liked her with her ears. Now, I prefer a cropped dog. Some other people prefer cropped dogs, some people don't. Some of you guys out there that are watching this video don't prefer cropped ears, but I want you guys to at least hear me out. Even if you're anti-ear cropping, at least hear me out as to why and how, and if it's really as bad as you truly believe it is, if you're one of those. You know, I know a lot of my people understand, but for those that don't. With that being said, I gave him the dog with uncropped ears. He decided to get the ears cropped after he had the dog, his choice. He got his dog's ears cropped, and this is her before and after look. Now, honestly, one of these looks to me is more appealing. I gave him the dog uncropped. He opted to crop the ears. This was the results. So, do you think he did that for aesthetic purposes? Yeah, he probably did it for aesthetic purposes. He wanted her to have a certain look. And that's kind of selfish, right? And that's what people are going to say to us, like, oh, you know what, if you crop the ears, we're kind of selfish. So what are the pros of cropping a dog's ears? Let's go down the list, the pros and the cons, and see if it really weighs out. All right, let's do that. So what are the pros of cropping your dog's ears? The pros of cropping your dog's ears are: one, it enhances hearing, allows ears to stand alert as nature initially intended them to. If you look at a wolf, you will notice that a wolf's ears always stand up erect naturally, right? And it's going to actually turn in the direction of whatever prey or whatever sound it's hearing, right? So that actually has a purpose. You're able to direct their ears in the direction of whatever they're hearing, and that gives them an enhanced signal so they can hear that. Dogs' ears now only flop over due to domestication. We made that happen. We made that problem, recreated that problem, if you want to call it a problem, where the ears began folding over top of itself. And what that does do, and people don't like to admit this, and it's going to sound crazy, but it's true if you think about it, is it partially blocks the ear canal. Does it stop the dog from hearing? No. Will the dog be fine? Yes. Is it as nature intended? No. That is not what nature intended. If you look at the wolf, if you look at the coyote, if you look at a fox, if you look at any of those canine species, their ears are erect. That is the way nature intended the ears to be. We have altered their life force. We have played God and mixed breeds together to create the XL American Bully. But through the mixing of the breeds, or whatever that was done, now their ears will definitely flop over if they are allowed to grow naturally, which goes against nature's course. So that is one of the pros. Another pro that they say is associated with ear cropping, alleged pro, is that it helps prevent ear infections. That if you crop the dog's ears, it's going to help prevent ear infections because it's not exposed the same way. Because you can get in there and you can clean out the ear easier. You have more access to the ear, so it'll never be clogged. It's not going to be kind of hidden under the flap. And honestly, I'm going to be honest, this pro doesn't go on our side, so we're going to have to check this off for the other side. I really don't believe it prevents ear infections. I do believe it's easier for the average owner to get in there and clean. You can get a straight shot into that ear canal. You can get in there and clean it out easier. That is a pro, honestly, just as a hands-on without holding the flap of the ear back. That's a pro. But is that a real reason to crop a dog's ear? Probably not. So that's the second pro that's supposed to be. Let's go to the... Now this third pro is a fact, and it really used to be a big deal, but I don't think it plays a major role now, but we'll still mention it as a pro, and that's it really protects the hunting dog's ears. They used to dock the hunting dog's tails, and they would dock the hunting dog's ears, so when they're in pursuit of serious prey, they can't use that as a grabbing point to get facial damage or get a hold of their ear, get a hold of their tail, and then that would be a disadvantage to the dog. So that was a big deal back in the day. They definitely did it for that reason in that time, but most of the people today that get our dogs are getting them as pets, so they're not going to be hunting and they're not cropping because of that. All right, so those are the pros. Now let me recap the pros real quick.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the pros. Number 1, enhances hearing. 2, it's easier to clean. And 3, it protects hunting dogs from being injured.
Those are the 3 pros, but the 4th is the biggest and most reason that people do it, which is aesthetic purposes, because it has a clean look. A lot of the different shows, if you go to a dog show, depending on who sanctioned the show, will not even allow you to show your uncropped dog. They want to see a dog with cropped ears in the ring because they feel like that is the best representation of the breed, and that is what the breed was intended to look like. That is the breed's quote-unquote signature look. And I know the fur moms don't like hearing that, but it really is. Now let's go to the cons, because if we're going to be realistic, we have to look at the cons of ear cropping as well. And the first con, and the biggest con, is that you're putting your puppy to sleep. If you're doing it correctly, you will have a licensed professional, I should say. There's a licensed professional that's going to put your puppy to sleep. And when that licensed professional is putting your puppy to sleep, they're using anesthesia. And whenever you use anesthesia, there's always the chance of your dog possibly passing away. You don't know how their body's going to react to the anesthesia. And, you know, every time a puppy or you wake up from anesthesia, that's a wonderful thing and a great thing to happen, right? So you are definitely taking that. Now, there's precautionary measures that anybody worth their time will take. Like a good vet is going to do a health checkup on that puppy. They're going to listen for heart murmurs and things of that nature to make sure that your puppy is okay and healthy enough to undergo anesthesia and have its ears cropped. That's the most dangerous portion. Most people focus on, oh man, it's the cutting of the ears and that's so inhumane. But the real danger lies in them going under anesthesia and then recovering fully without having any impact to their body long term. That is the biggest deal about it. Nobody really talks about that. I'm surprised that everybody focuses on the ears being cropped and the cutting of the ear. I guess that's more of a visible thing and a more of a visual thing, because they're not there to see the puppy get put to sleep and then brought back up after the ear cropping surgery has been performed. Make sure if you're one of the people that are going to do ear cropping, go to a licensed professional that has years of experience and pictures they can show you of dogs that have been cropped by them before. Don't just take a buddy's advice. Make sure you see their work. Make sure you know their track record, because you're literally putting your dog's life in their hands when you allow them to crop your dogs, right? I only have one person I've ever used as an ear cropper my entire breeding career. One. I go to her every single time and will always go to her. She's bomb and she does a great job. More importantly, her mortality rate right now with me after all these years is still 0%. There's not been one dog, not one puppy that she's cropped for me that didn't make it. It hasn't happened. Now, can it happen at any given time? Like, it can happen. I understand that can happen. But when you've done it for this many years without it happening, if it does, it would be an isolated incident, and I would know that there was something medically wrong with that puppy. Clearly, my ear cropper knows exactly what they're doing. And there's a lot of other kennels that use this cropper as well. The top kennels, I'm not going to mention names, but if you know, you know. So with that being said, we're going to wrap that up into the first check mark for the cons being the puppy could potentially die, right? That's something that could happen, but obviously doesn't happen on a regular basis. The second con would be the recovery period and the temporary discomfort that the puppy experiences after it has been cropped. Like, as a breeder, I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't notice that they itch their ears, they want to bite at the tape on their ears. They absolutely mess around with the ears. That's part of the process, man. They're definitely going to play with it. You got to imagine when you bring these pups back and they have tape on their ears, that's a foreign object. So any foreign object is a chew toy. That's just a puppy's mentality. If it's a foreign object and I can see it, I can chew on it, I want to chew on it. So eventually they're going to chew the tape off of each other's ears. That's going to happen, right? But they do go through a temporary point where they're going through some discomfort, there's going to be some swelling, and you want to make sure that you have them on an antibiotic the second that you crop their ears so that it doesn't get an infection. I really go out my way to make sure that we keep those puppies' ear sites very clean. You want to make sure, because they bite on each other's ears and chew on it, you want to make sure that it's really clean and healthy. So wipe it down once a day. Get some hydrogen peroxide, wipe it down on the outside of the ear. It doesn't hurt to put a little Neosporin on the outside of the ear and let that ear heal up. Keep them on the antibiotics while they're healing up as well. Clavamox is what we usually use during that time period. Don't go off of what I'm saying. Have your vet or whoever's cropping your ears give you the proper antibiotics to do so. What I like to do is I leave the stitching inside the ear for about a week, and I leave the tape on the ear for about a week and a half. That tape really gives the ears the structure to hold and stand up, because the ears make or break a dog once you decide to crop the ears, man. If you get a bad cropping, or if you don't take care of those ears after they're cropped, your dog's ears can permanently be laying to the side, or you have one laying over top of the head. So making sure that you take care of the ears after they're cropped is a big deal. Make sure you allow that tape to sit there for a good week and then take it off, because that gives the ears the structure that it needs. It's going to have memory to go right to that position later on when that dog is alert. So that's very important. Make sure you take the stitching out carefully. If you're not, well, some people go back to the vet to have it taken out. I'm very hands-on. I don't know how to crop a dog's ears, but I definitely know how to care for the dogs after they're cropping. I don't need to go anywhere to have somebody to take the stitching out or take the tape off, or do a follow-up to see how the ear is doing. It's not hard to monitor it, and if you follow what I'm telling you in this video, it won't be hard for you to monitor your dog's ears and make sure that they're as healthy and happy during this adjustment period, because they are going to go through some adjustments. This is an adjustment period, right? So that's the second con, is they do go through some temporary discomfort.
Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much the only two cons to mention about ear croppings. Now, here's the full the cons on ear croppings. 1, although it is extremely rare, your puppy could potentially die from a reaction to the anesthesia. This almost never happens and has never happened to me, but it has to be listed as one of the cons. And number 2, there is a recovery period of a few weeks where the puppies will experience minor discomfort as their ears heal. Nothing major, nothing worth for even talking about. Okay, so let's see these two lists side by side. I want to see the ear cropping pros and the ear cropping cons right next to each other. Let's recap the pro list. Number 1, it enhances hearing because their ears fold over on themselves due to domestication. Nature intended for the canine species to have erect ears, and there's many examples of that. Number 2, it's easier to access and clean your dog's ears. Number 3, it still protects hunting and guardian dogs. And number 4, which is the reason why I think it happens most of the time, is for aesthetic purposes. Now at this point, this is where personal opinion and preference enters the picture. When I'm taking a look at the pros and cons list that we created, I'll personally see more pros than cons, and I know I'm definitely all about the health of my dogs. Anybody that knows me knows that. That's what led me to create the Big Dog Supplement, to help my dogs' growth, help my dogs with health, help them grow at rapid paces but still stay super healthy. I'm all about health. This does not compromise the health of the dog at all, right? I've seen another guy in a different video say something along the lines of, when the dogs get older, they're going to experience anxiety because they express themselves through their ears and tail. Like, it's just goofy stuff being said online that literally has no factual value to it, right? It's just crazy talk. The cons do have some merit, I will say that. So I encourage anybody that is going to do an ear cropping, make sure you do thorough research before committing to having your pup's ears cropped. Find a reputable breeder or a really good vet to do it for you. This is not a space where you want to try to take the cheap route and save some money while you risk your puppy's life and possibly its appearance, or both, right? So make sure that if you do take this route, be responsible, because their well-being is in our hands. Now, for those of you who watched this video to this point, I thank you. Please put your comments as to why or why not you agree with ear cropping, now that you have some actual facts that has been doing this for over a decade in our BGK breeding program. I'm waiting to hear from all you guys with your opinions on ear cropping. I will try to read and respond as much as possible. And never forget, quality matters. For my iPhone users, I have a message for you. I need some help from you, okay? We just released the beta version of our app. The BGK app is in the App Store right now. You can download it for free. You're going to have to go to your App Store and put in BGK or Big Gemini Kennels and scroll down and find us. We're going to be at the bottom because we literally just put it into the stores as of yesterday. We were just approved. So go ahead and download that app and tell me what you like to see more of. Tell me what we can improve on it, because we're in a process of still developing this app, and I want you guys to be a part of that development. Tell me what you would like to see and what you like about the app, what you don't like about the app. I will definitely be using your input to make this app even better as we go. Please download the BGK app only on iTunes or through an iPhone right now. It will be available for Androids within a few weeks after we get the different changes made. I just want to start with Apple. All right. Salute. I appreciate you guys. Remember, quality matters.